And so that officially ends the Warriors and Steph Curry's season where, and after the trade deadline, it went on this amazing, magical run after they acquired Jimmy Butler, and now all of a sudden, like, I know Steph was hurt in the first game, but I still thought there was hope for the Warriors to win it, to win the series, as long as Jimmy Butler was there. But to lose in 5 games, just like the Lakers did in the first round against the same Minnesota team. I mean, look, I don't want to make it out to say that the Wolves had, a cakewalk of a series just because Steph was out. I mean, the Warriors did still have Buddy Hield, who has been playing well as of late in the Rockets series, in the later games, and even going into the start of this semi-series against the Wolves. It just so happens that the Warriors still had him, Draymond, and Jimmy Buckets, and Jimmy was supposed to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Draymond has just been an absolute non-factor for both series, actually, except for that one game against Houston. That was probably like game 3, but since then he's just been a total non-factor, and he's just even more of a non-factor in this series after Steph was out. So he hasn't really helped the team as much, and unfortunately for Jimmy Butler, it's the same thing for him. I'm as a matter of fact, I'm gonna blame this series elimination, the Warriors playoff elimination, on Jimmy Butler. I know Draymond is to blame too, just because he's done nothing but foul, on the court stuff, where he's just looks like he just doesn't care to play basketball anymore. But I think the lion's share of the blame is going to go to Jimmy Butler, and I'm going to tell you why. Jimmy Butler is supposed to be that guy that, as soon as he got to Golden State, I know he said that he didn't want to join. He once upon a time rejected the trade for the Warriors, until somehow, some way, he just got there. And then, the Warriors suddenly went on this dominant run, especially being one of the best defensive teams. And, going to the playoffs, I did have them winning in like 6 games or so. They ended up winning in 7, almost blowing a 3-1 lead. When Steph went out in game 1 of Minnesota, Jimmy is supposed to be that guy to step up, and unfortunately he just hasn't done very much. He hasn't. This is the same Jimmy Butler that carried his then Miami Heat team twice to the finals. Twice. It wasn't that long ago. I'm talking about just a couple of playoff seasons ago that Jimmy Butler carried that Miami Heat team from the play-in to the first round, being the 8th seed, beating the Bucks. I know Giannis was hurt for 1 game, and then he returned just not looking so much the same. Still beat them regardless. And then the Knicks. And then the Celtics, where they nearly blew a 3-0 lead, right? And then getting to the finals, where they ultimately lose by 5. But the point is, Jimmy Butler was the one that carried the Miami Heat to the finals twice. He himself did all the carrying. I mean, no disrespect. I know that the guys over there are also contributing, but if I had to compare that supporting cast to the Warriors supporting cast, I mean, I wish I could say this Warriors supporting cast is better, but if I gotta be real, the Miami Heat supporting cast was better than this Warriors supporting cast. I hate to say it. And mind you, most of those guys that Jimmy carried to the finals just 2 years ago and in 2020 were mostly undrafted. I'm talking about the role guys. And those guys were knocking down threes every single round, to get to the finals. I remember 2 years ago watching the Miami Heat beating the Bucks, beating the Knicks, beating the Celtics. And those guys just, like Gabe Vincent, now a Laker, and Max Strus, now a Cavalier, and Caleb Martin, I think he's in Dallas. Guys like them knocked down three-point shooters in the playoffs. Who would have thought that Miami Heat team would have gotten this far? Being the 8th seed getting to the finals. And in 2020, in the bubble, being the 5th seed to face the Lakers. Where was that Jimmy Butler? I didn't see that Jimmy Butler with the Warriors when Steph is out. He was supposed to be that guy. But, I don't understand. Before the Jimmy trade, once upon a time the Warriors were hot, starting the season at 12-3. Still had Andrew Wiggins, and it still had they had Dennis Schroeder temporarily, didn't work out, but that was when they were struggling. In the beginning of the season, they still had Andrew Wiggins. Forgot who else they had, but just somehow they just started to slip away, and they started to struggle. It became up and down, and then next thing you know, you got Jimmy. Suddenly they were a dominant team that got them from the play-in picture all the way to the 6th seed. They were just winning games left and right. It looked like the Warriors are old until this series where, for some reason, I don't know why, Jimmy just wasn't Miami Heat Jimmy Butler. He was just a total disappointment because he was supposed to be the guy that to carry this Warriors team the same way. Now, I don't know if I could say it was the system, Steve Kerr's system, or what, but either way, man, like he just did not impact the Warriors the same way he did in the regular season. He didn't show up as the Miami Heat Jimmy Butler. So this is on him. The Wolves did, for them to advance in 5 games does feel like a cakewalk when it shouldn't have. If only Jimmy knew how to be, that Miami Heat Jimmy Butler to help the Warriors team despite Steph being out. But, even if the Warriors were to win this game, my coworker Timmy's right. They shouldn't have not rushed Steph back from that hamstring injury. Or that hamstring strain, yeah. Because, he might risk of injuring it even more if he were to return for Game 6. So, it's just unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate. To already see Jason Tatum go down with an Achilles, and then my other guy, Dame, go down with an Achilles injury as well. It's in the first round, Game 3 of the Bucks and Pacers series. And 2 of my guys, man. I mean, Steph to be out for a week and Dame to be out for the rest of who knows what. I mean, the Dame's was the Achilles, Steph's was the hamstring strain. And now both the Warriors and Bucks, as well as the Lakers, gone. Sucks, man. Not only has my year sucked, not only has my life really been in the dark, but these playoffs, man. See the Lakers go out early, and then the Warriors without Steph. Man, it's just sad, dude. It's just sad. You know, I think to watch Steph at this point, you know, after what just happened the last couple of days, I just need this kind of healing, even if it's just like a temporary remedy. Watching Steph just, you know, as long as he does what he does, will just get my night going. But he's not there. And now the Warriors are gone. So, and I get it. Steph is aging. And I did kind of joke around to say that Steph was going to be, he's going to play till he's 45. Can it still be the case? Who knows? And now, there's nothing for me and Marty to talk about, knowing that Steph is not there. And we still ain't talking. So, yep, it is what it is, man. Congrats to the Wolves. And, I just hope Steph won't retire yet. Probably give him one more year. And we'll go from there. All right. Night-night.